Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. This week we are in San Jose and we are meeting with the best and brightest companies in the Silicon Valley area. That includes Wade Williamson, who's a senior threat analyst of Palo Alto Networks. Wade, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So I was hoping we could start off by you giving me just a quick overview of your company. I mean, you're in the security space. I know I've written about the company before, but not to the headquarters. But for those who may not be familiar.
Sure. So Palo Alto Networks, we make next generation firewalls. And what that means is we base all of our security decisions on application level understanding of what traffic is. So instead of just saying we're going to let a certain port open and let whatever might want to come through that port through, we actually identify the traffic, say that this is maybe a Gmail connection and maybe they're trying to transfer files within that connection. We can identify that, control it, and make sure that at an application level we understand what the security risks are and make our decisions appropriately.
So keeping with that example of Gmail, so for example, if there was a PDF file coming through or a zip file, something that could potentially be malicious, then what happens at that point?
It's a good point. So one of the things that we do is we both have this kind of firewalling phase where we decide what to let through. And then when we say for the things that we want to let through, like a PDF, right, we know that a PDF could be malicious. We can look at that PDF, see if it has malware, see if there's threats or anything like that kind of built into this transmission of the application, whatever it may be. You know, lots of applications other than Gmail. So we want to make that kind of enablement phase and say, here are the applications we can use and how we can use them safely. And then for that traffic that we let in, we want to make sure that we look for threats, malware, exploits, unapproved file types. So your PDF example would be a potential example there. So that we kind of have that two-phase approach to say this is allowed, and for the things that are allowed, we're going to look for threats inside of it.
Okay, and then a zip file could, again, be a problem too. So you unzip it and try to figure out what's in there?
We will look at, we will unzip zipped content. We also have the ability to kind of go one step further and look at inside of SSL traffic based on policy. So you may say, well, I don't want to look inside some sensitive information like healthcare sites or financial sites, and you can kind of avoid all of that. But you can say, well, if people are going out to Facebook, and Facebook uses SSL almost by default now. It gives people that option. We know a lot of infections come in through Facebook, right? So it may be something that we say, for this traffic, we're going to look inside of SSL just like we would inside of zip traffic, right? To make sure that we have that visibility to actually see the threats, because that's the real world of how things are getting in on a daily basis.
So you mentioned Facebook, other IM type clients like a Skype. If I try to send a file to Skype, what happens there?
We can at least control your behavior of certain applications. Skype can be kind of a little bit unique because they have their own proprietary types of file transfer, but if you're looking at maybe Google Talk or things like that, we have that ability to say you can allow this type of application but not allow it to transfer files. So we do that regardless of how the evasion or how the application tries to evade. One of the things that's really, really tricky out there right now is that applications have gotten very adept at kind of routing around traditional firewall controls, right? So we enforce
Skype
that.
Actually is one of Skype's...
Exactly. So Skype is one of the very more evasive applications that if it finds something that's blocked, it's just going to go down the line of that firewall looking for a new way in. We will identify that Skype usage and still be able to say, for this user, is he allowed to use Skype or not?
The application,
right?
I see.
Right.
So do you find that your clients use your solutions for compliance as well, or is it just primarily security?
We see a lot of use of the product for compliance. One of the things that it does really, really well is it allows you to set policies not only based on application, but also on user. So that you can say the finance department is the only one that should be talking to this database that has credit card information in it. For that reason, we've been very, very popular as a solution for enforcing PCI compliance. People have been using our networks to segment various parts of our solutions to segment various parts of their network to say, well, just like I do with my credit card information, where only certain people and certain applications should be getting over there, we can do that for a lot of other types of data, whether it's healthcare information or whatever it might be, you can get very granular about who should be able to get where, and that makes it a really good solution for all types of compliance applications.
So for companies that aren't as compliance oriented, the time to upgrade from their normal firewall or firewall 1.0 to 2.0 is when it dies, or are there enough benefits for people who are watching right now to throw out their firewall? And is there some sort of return on investment calculation that you can help us go through so that
Sure.
they can decide right now while watching this video, okay, I need to call Palo Alto, which I need to buy one of their solutions?
Absolutely. One of the core issues, and the reason that the time is now and why we are growing as fast as we are, is that fundamentally your old firewall does not understand the modern traffic that is being thrown at it, right? So back to your example of Skype. There are a lot of applications like Skype that will look for any available port. Right, this is becoming a new standard behavior because applications need to run across a firewall. People like ourselves aren't going to use an IM client that doesn't know how to get across a firewall, right? That is very, very dangerous from a security perspective. If your firewall is just kind of this big router that's letting things in through whatever port, then you don't have very much control at all. So that's why having this truly next generation firewall where the classification mechanism, what we base our decisions on, is based on an application identification. That is something that people need today. That's something they needed yesterday.
So
right?
It's your contention that really, I mean, okay, so you didn't answer the ROI question, but what you're telling me instead is that your firewalls are intelligent, and since the threats are now more intelligent, you need to have an intelligent firewall, otherwise you're not protected.
True, true. And to give you a little bit more detail on the ROI side, right? We can certainly help people kind of get to that ROI faster because we have a lot of migration tools, because all of our customers are coming from this traditional background. They're coming from, the big enterprise firewall vendors. So we have a lot of tools to help migrate them across and get them from a point today where they have a lot of legacy rules that aren't doing much to having a firewall that they can use today that actually is enforcing things on traffic.
Fantastic. What's next for the company?
Continued growth and continued innovation. One of the things that we really have focused on is making sure that we continue to innovate, continue to grow the product line. We have just recently released the PA5000 series of our firewalls, which are our new 20 gig firewalls, very, very performance, very, very scalable solutions, so going deeper into the data center, deeper into the enterprise. We've also released a solution called Global Protect. Global Protect allows us to do the things that our firewall gives us at the perimeter, but extend that to users when they roam outside of the building. So making sure that when you're at the coffee shop, you're still getting that application level control, you're still looking for all those threats, just like you would if you were inside the perimeter of the network.
And that's important now because you've got this kind of hybrid cloud kind of model where companies are having to try to manage all of the different applications and just security policies across the WAN and the LAN and just kind of integrating it all together.
Yeah, exactly. As both the user base becomes more mobile and our applications move out to the cloud, we've got to make sure that we have something between those 2 points that is enforcing enterprise policy. Otherwise, we can't just afford to throw our hands up and say, well, we've moved to the cloud, we can't control that. We have to be able to control it. That's the way that computing is going, so we need to make sure that our firewalls and our threat prevention technologies have that notion as well.
So that sounds like a really good tagline for your company, cloud with control. Because everything right now is cloud, so you could just ride along that cloud theme.
I'm probably not going to make that jump right here, right now, but we'll see how it goes in the future.
Great, well thanks for being on the program.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Great.
All right, thank
Yeah,
you.
that was fun. Yeah.